Hey, Mark, welcome. Thank you so much for having this conversation and being able to share some depth of the conversations and the collaboration we had so far. And maybe just to get started right away, like for people who don't know Campbell and Jones, who are you guys and what do you guys do?
Campbell Jones is a brand building and life experience agency here in Zurich. I'm the co-founder and also managing partner. We're about 10 people. Yes, we focus on small, medium, but also big corporations and do different projects for them. Mostly on a project base. We don't have a lot of like retention based customers.
Mm, Cool. Very nice. Thanks for sharing. So, on a high level, like before we started working together, what were things like? What was the situation like at Campbell and Jones? How did things look like, feel like?
Um, Actually, we had like a good growth before, but we came into a stage where growth had to be kind of measured and also predictable, or also the income, since the team is growing. Before that, it was like through customers we already had, or word to mouth, or some network connections, right? So and for that we searched for something who could help us to get new leads and get to new projects and new clients.
Mm. Why?
Why? Because first, like kind of to get a financial stability, and also because the markets are volatile. Customers
Mm.
sometimes had to restructure, and then it's like for a half year we have like a budget freeze, or customers change agencies, which is sometimes also normal because they have to. It's policy. And when you're smaller, 2 or 3 months through the year, which are more a little low with like what's coming in, it's possible to like stand out, or to keep it going. But if you're getting bigger and have more people, you need to have like a steady like pipeline with clients who coming in, or projects
Mm.
coming.
Mm. Yeah, it's so true. Like you speak from my heart, you know. I appreciate sharing that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Now, what do you feel like the before and after picture? You
Mhm.
had to pinpoint maybe one or two things. What do you feel like is the biggest difference as of before and as of now?
Um, Before, we didn't have like an idea how to get through a systematic approach to new leads. And now with your program, we kind of know how to get into mailboxes, or would say direct message to people, and get leads, at least talk to us for half an hour and an hour, and maybe then later get to know us for a little bit, yeah, longer time, and then maybe get a sales opportunity out of that.
Mm, mm, mm. So the biggest
Because
thing, yeah.
because
Okay.
one thing is, as when we get into the stage where we can sell our service, we're pretty good of closing it, but
Mm.
it's harder to get the first lead, right? And like quality leads, that's also a big thing, because yeah, I mean, there are hundreds of companies who call me or write me per month, or not hundreds, per year, I would say, and they sell you leads, whatever.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Like the first thing you mentioned is so common across consulting and agencies. Like once you have somebody at the table who's the right person at the right company, has the right problem to solve, you're good, right? And
Mhm.
if you have enough of that, you're good. And it's interesting, like very, very often the differentiator of the quality that I mentioned is also the problem that they have. It's not just coffee. Coffee talks are fine, but they can all be completely useless, right?
Yes.
And just you know, recently a client said that to me, like, we want solid clients, we want solid leads, and not people with ideas without a company.
There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah, I still remember those requests from the early days. We have a startup idea for, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No, thank you so much for sharing that. So going a little bit more into like the past, like, you know, before we started working together, you mentioned a few things in the beginning, but maybe let's dive a little bit more into that. Like, what were the main things on a day-to-day basis that you were struggling with that weren't working as you wanted in that sense, like before we worked together?
Um, I would say, I mean, we are also before we had always like kind of the notion people do not understand us 100% what we're doing. And through also your program and also the approach we took during this time, we start to really shape out our strategic, like North Star where we want to be and where we want to grow and which should be our customers or clients, right?
Mm,
And that, like this, the first process was really important. It was really hard also. We had to dig deep and also to had a lot of hard meetings, but it was really worth. And before we always had like the, you do that too, or what are you doing exactly? And we thought like, hey, it's so clear, but it was always not so clear. I think, yeah. And since
mm,
we had this transition, a lot of like the mind opened and also the eyes opened around us, and we get
mm,
acknowledged by a lot of different other clients, right?
mm, mm. That's really interesting. I still remember one of the first conversations that we had together. I asked you, why is this important to you? And I think you said, because like we never really had to actively go out. We never did that. And therefore, like when people come to you, they have a good sense what you do. Otherwise they wouldn't come to you,
Mm.
right? And but if you go out proactively, you have to figure this out. How do you
Yeah.
communicate that really, really properly and clearly, right? I still remember that. That was really interesting. Yeah, very
Yeah.
powerful. And so how did that show up in that sense? So did you try reaching out to people and going out before, and or where did it show up in terms of like people saying like, so what are you guys exactly doing? What else and this too? And
Um, really actively, to be honest, not. I mean, I I'm I'm a trained designer. I grew into having a company, right? So I never was in, or for me, sales was never something I had like an idea about. Really, it was always kind of natural to
mm,
having discussions with interesting people on an event or wherever, and then you get into it and you can like tell your story or whatever you do, and then it's people come to us or came to us, but we never went out, right? Never like actively.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's so common, right? I mean, I always say like, I have not found an agency or consultancy that was started by a salesperson.
No.
I've
No.
not seen that.
No.
It's strategists, designers, software engineers, experts in
Yeah.
their fields, right? And that's normal. It's very organic, right? And yeah, we'll go into that a little bit later, but it's just very fascinating that you shared that when you went there, basically. One more thing I want to just understand a little bit better. You mentioned at some point, like, we had to change something. We had to really do something about it. What was sort of the trigger point? When did you know or feel you really had to make a change something, basically?
um Actually, we had this very good year before, like we started, and we were like, okay, how we could not max out, but what's the potential of our company and our services? This was a big like starting point for us to think about, can we grow like from organically also systematically, right?
mm,
And yeah, and also the financial burden we have every month to pay the salaries of our people, right? So
mm, mm. Yeah, so one is a bit more certainty, right, when it comes to
Mhm,
salaries and things like that. But the other thing is interesting too, right? Because like most of the time when I talk to people, it's not necessarily the stick that drives the most. It's very often like the carrot, the ambition. I still remember I asked you like, so where do you want to go in the future? Why? What's your motivation? And you were just like, we're just hungry. We're
mhm,
ambitious,
mhm,
and we have standards. And and it's very interesting, especially in the creative world and agency consulting world. Very often, you come from a place of like you have certain standards. You have quality you want to deliver, you have quality and quality, and you want to bring that same amount of like standards and values and quality into the acquisition part and growth and business development. It's beautiful. I love
mhm.
that. Thanks for sharing. So I'd love to get your insights a bit more on Acquisition OS. Like what made Acquisition OS the right approach for you guys?
I think there were a few. I mean, one was for sure that it has to work, that it can work by itself, in that the system is behind it, right? So once you implement it, there's something happening, right? And it works. And I kind of also took your word, what you achieved with it, right? So it was also kind of a trust thing.
Sure.
And also the the approach that you really have to shape out with what message you want to go out and for what you stand for. So there were both, right? So and then we were just curious because, like I said, I get all these messages from other companies who tell you stuff like that. And why not trying something? And then, yeah, you convinced me to do it. So,
Mm,
yeah.
mm. I appreciate that. I appreciate that I convinced you, and I appreciate like that. There was a certain level of trust and things like that. Maybe one level deeper, right,
Yeah.
into like the the actual aspects of how it works and the different like why it's maybe or how it's specifically built and the aspects that you see now happening of the approach that you use now with Acquisition OS in terms of outreach, in terms of having conversations, in terms of extracting sales pipeline and things like that. How do you feel that is the right thing for you? Are there certain aspects that you feel like this is why I feel this really works for us, or this is why I feel it really works for us? Are there certain nuances and aspects that really make it?
Mm, I was first critical, or regarding, like, since it's kind of in the ecosystem of LinkedIn. But as we started to kind of debunk the LinkedIn myth there, or how it works and how people react to it, we saw like that it's actually a really good channel, right? To
Sure.
work with that. And since through that it's super integrated, and you have like with get sales and the tool to like also manage everything around it, it was kind of easy, right? So you don't need much more.
Hmm.
And also
Okay.
how Sales Navigator, I mean, is a crazy tool if you distract all the leads out of there, and then, yeah, work with that. So, yeah,
Mm,
it was kind of, first we were for sure critical, but as soon we saw that it works and also has a lot to do with your algorithm, how you interact on LinkedIn. So, yeah, that's super interesting.
appreciate that. Thank you. So one is like very critical about LinkedIn because hey, I'm getting pitched every day. I'm not gonna pitch those people like
Yeah.
that, right? I get that. Yeah, like LinkedIn doesn't work anymore, you know, and things like that. No, I get it. I get it. And then basically like the actual like the different pieces working together, very interesting. Um, Maybe one thing to dive in a little bit more, like when we started working together, right? If you ignore what happened so far and we just look back to the very beginning, what were you hoping to achieve when you said, made the commitment, let's do this? What did you actually want to achieve? What were you hoping?
Um, I mean, there are two layers. The first layer is getting serious leads, right? This is layer number one, or people we can talk to are really our target group and focus group and have like the ability to decide if they want to work with us and not just juniors and low-level managers, which are not our target group. And on the other side, but that's the layer two, which is the end goal to, I mean, scale our business to a certain stage. Yeah.
So leads, like short term in that sense, getting to the right people at the right level, at the right companies with the right problems, that filling the lead funnel and pipeline, but also having something that actually scales.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. And when we started the process, when did you feel, what was like the moment or the first time when you felt, oh, things are going in the right direction? This may actually work. This could actually be the right thing.
Yeah, to be honest, after we got like the interest regarding the event, I mean, of the round table, right? So when you saw these people are like checking in and getting interested, and then the event itself and what happened afterwards for sure was super nice. And it gave us like that, then the confidence to now getting even more and deeper into it and like open the funnel, right? Because like we said, first we were a little bit conservative regarding how many people we like outreach to, and now we are super like confident to go with the big shuffle.
Why? What made you so confident? Like, what's the difference?
I mean, good conversations, also super good feedback on the roundtable itself. People who told us they want to come to the next roundtable and stay in contact, and people who said, "Hey, we would even pay for that." No, we have a lot of them, right? Or some people even ask us if they have to pay, and we say no. It's like, and I mean, even I mean, 50% of the people who were there or want to come to the next one. And we have now a little bit to wait to register them in. But like I said, you already, maybe we start that really to have like a journey where we people, because
Mm,
not all of them are like our customers yet, but if we can take them by the hand and
mm,
that once a time, and then, yeah, maybe next year they're going to be our customer or end of the year. So, because
mm,
changing an agency is not like I do that tomorrow, right? Or I can change it every day. It's
mm,
for bigger,
mm,
especially corporate clients. There's a process and also a need, which is from within to do that.
mm,
Even a lot of them told us like they're not really happy with their actual agency. They're always like, some of them are not sure if they even want to work with agency anymore. And yeah, it was pretty
mm,
interesting also for us to uh, like see how do we have to navigate ourselves in the market, because we see the big agencies, they're really losing. They have a lot of problems. So yeah,
mm.
this side.
Okay, very interesting. So there's a few things. One is the resonance, people engaging, people coming back. And I remember in one of the last conversations we had, you were like, the CMO of this big brand answered, and that was like incredible, and this, and I was like, wow, looking into the inbox and whatever. That was one thing, right? But the other thing is also the quality aspect of it, where people go like, why wouldn't we pay for that? Like, I don't like, this is so incredibly valuable, right? I mean, I've had this so many times, people telling me and even brainstorming with me about business models. I'm like, we're good. we're okay. It's
Mhm,
fine, you
mhm,
know?
mhm.
And so that aspect, I think it's huge, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not one outreach email and then you have a client. It's touch point after touch point, value
Yeah,
after value, trust after trust, and relationships. That's at the core of all of this, right? And you said it like if we can take them by the hands, you know, there's a certain level of confidence and certainty that these things will actually work out.
yeah. I mean,
Mm.
actually, to be honest, we praise the same for brands how they have to engage with their clients, right? Actually, and now I think like, yeah, the same is like we should work with our future clients because
Mm.
we are at the end also a brand. We are
Yes.
not a
Yes.
consumable, but yeah, we
Mm.
also
Mm.
have to be a brand.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. So, talking a little bit more about the outcomes so far,
Mhm,
um, whatever in terms of results, specific in
mhm,
numbers, or anything else that comes
mhm.
up, basically. What do you feel like, or what are some of the results that you're seeing now after implementing Acquisition OS?
Um, I mean, first, we had the first like financial outcomes, right? Like we have now two clients who signed a deal with us, right? And which is for us really nice. And the next thing is really now we are really on the hot phase for the next roundtable in end of March, and we
Mhm.
already have like a lot of good like customers in the pipeline or clients, future clients or leads in the pipeline, which we also have like the calls, the intro calls, so
Mm.
which is really nice. So yeah, I mean, I
Mm.
see it's also step by step because um we still sometimes have to figure out some stuff and challenge ourselves because we are not natural sales, right? So there's still some processes ongoing, but it's getting better and better. And
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it's one step after each other. And I think, yeah, everybody who wants to do that has to be sure that he has to work for that. There's not the one stop shop.
Mm.
And if you think that is, or everybody who sells you that
Yeah.
sells you like a dream which is not working.
Yeah, no, look, it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm just saying something like, but it takes you 10 years to build your craft to a level where you were like, look, I can do it in the FF, you know, in a sense, like
Yeah.
I can just do it, right? How can you expect acquisition to work within 2 weeks? You know, it's like, that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. We all wish for that,
Sure.
especially because we're not natural born salespeople. So we wish for that. We
Mhm.
wish that problem to just go away, right? Just
Mhm.
don't bother me with it. Just
Mhm.
let the clients come in, right? But it is what it is. It's painful, you know, it's painful. And, you know, and it does take time, but it doesn't have to take 10 years, you know?
Oh,
It can be
no.
much, much, much faster, but it's not going to happen overnight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that. It's
sure.
very, very honest and truthful. Yeah. Um, internally,
Mhm.
what changed through that process for you guys?
Um, Actually, kind of the mindset to what we now have or how we have to approach also the
Mhm.
mindset for the people who are engaged with the um, acquisition OS, how they manage their LinkedIn, and also how then for sure we have one person who's really working the program and doing all the calls and do the outreach program. Yeah, I mean, for that, it's more the mind. I think the mindset really got, hey, we have now a sales tool and it works. So really go for it, right?
Mm, mm. So, how is that different from before? I'm really curious. Like you mentioned, now we have a
Anything.
sales tool, right? And it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
How does that feel different from before, or how is it different?
Before we didn't have anything. It was like luck or
Okay.
like, right? I mean, for
Mm,
us, we're
mm.
And we
mm,
had a lot of luck, I would say, or just have, I mean, the work you did before give you the next good work, whatever.
sure.
But um, it was never something planned, right? So,
Mm, mm. So you can lie your trust more into an actual tool or a system or an engine, um, than into hopefully luck keeps, or luck is maybe the wrong word, right?
oh,
Because
luck is stronger, but
most of the time it's you guys are doing great work. If you're
yeah,
around
sure,
for 10
sure,
years, you're doing great work. But
sure.
great work only gets you so far, in an economy that goes up and down and changes.
Yeah,
And the thing is, because there's cycles, right? You could probably just do good work. If you're okay with 3 years of consistent loss and then going up again, that's fine,
mm,
because you just follow the economy, right?
mm, yeah,
Um,
sure.
but if you don't want that, maybe it makes sense to have a tool or an engine or like a system that actually could you put your trust in. And I think it's more sustainable to put something into something you own than put it into the economy that hopefully we go up again. Hopefully now.
Yeah,
Hopefully, soon. Right.
yeah,
Because yeah, that's difficult. I want to talk about one level deeper, one layer
mhm.
deeper. For you personally, how does it feel different today than before we got started? How does the business, acquisition, all these kinds of things, how does it feel different?
Um, gained some more trust in our, I would say, I'm, it's hard to say, or more confidence, I would say. We gained
Hmm.
some, or I personally gained confidence also after we had like it now the round table, the first round table and the outreach, confidence for to who we are and where we are. Because sometimes if you have like one or two bumps, you start to think, are we still on the right path?
Yeah.
Are we is what's going to happen? And now we see like, hey, we can kind of work against that, or so.
Mm,
Yeah, I would say that is
mm,
the main reason.
mm. So more confidence basically
Yeah,
in that what you're doing is the right thing. So you're not getting distracted by the squirrels left and right, and maybe
yeah,
we should try this. That was a cool LinkedIn post about the
yeah,
AI
yeah.
solution that solves all the problems. Let's go there.
Oh, so many.
Stay course, right? Stay focused
Yeah,
and do more of what works. Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
cool. I love that. In the process of working together, was there anything that surprised you in terms of the process, in terms of the outcomes?
Um, I mean, yeah, I since you're the developer of the program and know every tool very good. I mean, you helped us a few times with like to really get into the deep insights with the sales navigator, how it works and how you really extract leads who are interesting, right? Because if you don't have the knowledge so much, we were kind
Mm,
of stuck in the first, but now we kind of get into it and it works very well. And for sure, also, I mean, the templates of, I mean, I thought the videos and templates were very easy to understand, right? It was, for me, it was the right portion and size to absorb it.
mm,
And then the pre-fabric like streams you did for the outreach that helped us. I mean, for sure, if we had to build that by ourselves, it would be also a little painful.
Interesting. Interesting. So the process was smooth. If I
Yeah.
if I hear that, it was kind of like it was very digestible. It was smooth.
Yeah. I
Mm,
mean, what the only thing is you have to take time for to do it, right? I mean that's by
absolutely.
everybody's own timing how we would want to work with. But if you have time and invest it, then you get a lot of like a lot out of it, and you could do it actually super fast.
Mm. Yeah, that's also interesting, right? I mean, everybody has their own timeline
Yeah,
and
sure.
everybody applies their own timeline, right? But and sometimes that's difficult Also for me, to be honest,
Mhm.
when I see clients who take just a very long time, I'm like, I'm a very impatient guy, right?
Mhm.
But, but everybody has their own clock, and that's fine. And it's interesting what you said, right? You could also do it much faster. It's just up to each individual how they
Yeah,
look at things and how they want to process it, what the urgency is, and all these kinds of wonderful things.
yeah.
Mm. And like overall, between before and after, if you had to like name one or two things that really made the biggest impact overall, what would they be?
The biggest impact is, I mean, for sure, qualified leads. Point. I mean, that's for me. And really know how to work the market, right?
Mm.
The blueprint of how to work the market, which is kind of big on LinkedIn, right? And I mean, I always thought like, I told it before, but now I see, I mean, even if you mirror yourself, I mean, all these emails you get, 90% lands in a spam. And then sometimes I try to clean the spam, and then I see all these emails coming in from all these people who want to sell me leads, outreach, blah, 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 blah. Everything is in like the spam. And even, I mean, the ones who want to sell you the stuff do the wrong thing. It's funny.
Yeah, interesting, right? Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I love it. So one is leads, right? That's one thing, which is great. It's also very acute, direct, specific problem, right? And the other thing which I want to dive into a little bit more is like how
Mhm.
to work the market, right? The blueprint. What do you mean by that?
Um, I mean, the blueprint for me is how you understand what you're doing or what is your product that you're selling or service, in our case service. Then B, um, target like the right group want to talk to or want to outreach to. And
Mm.
third, what is all the mechanism that you do it right, and the psychology behind it, right? Like with all the emails or the messages you write, how to get them that they
Mm.
start to interact with you.
Mm. Mm. So basically the mechanics, right? But how do you
Mhm.
actually make it work?
Uh-huh.
Because there's a lot of proof that most of it doesn't work. In
Yeah,
your spam, there's a lot of proof that
yeah,
most of it doesn't work. And then
yeah,
the other proof is the stuff that doesn't get the spam where you go like delete, 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 right?
yeah.
And that's maybe 99%. And it's interesting. This on you also has an effect because this on you makes you feel like, well, then we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do outreach. We shouldn't reach out to people because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not it doesn't work, but this doesn't work,
Uh-huh.
right? Because it's like saying, in advertising, it's like saying Facebook ads don't work. Yeah, yeah, sure. Exactly. No, it's like you don't work.
Yeah.
Facebook ads work, but your stuff doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? And or whatever platform or channel you want to take, right? And in LinkedIn or email, or it doesn't matter what channel, because you could literally cold call people for the approach that we have. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
matter. I've
Uh,
tried and I've done that and it works. And it's not about the channel, but it's what you feed into it. Because if you bullshit into the channel, you get bullshit out, right? Then the
yeah.
channel doesn't matter. And it's really interesting what you said, like a bit the spam and all these kinds of things. And yeah, like what would you say to somebody who's considering AcquisitionOS for their business? If you have somebody in front of you go like, should I do this? Should I not do this? What would you tell them?
Um, first, for sure, look into it. Then I also see there are maybe it's a mirror for their product or service and helps them to navigate or re-navigate or recalibrate their service or their product because
Mm,
maybe they're on the wrong way, and then you could implement the every system and it wouldn't work because nobody wants it, right? I mean,
mm,
that's also a factor. And then I would say it works, but you have to work for it.
Mm,
And if you don't
mm,
want to do the work, then maybe you can hire someone, but I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it. But yeah,
mm,
that's,
mm, mm.
I mean, I would say it also depends a little bit of the service and product, right? So,
Yeah. I love how you just pre-qualified people. So basically, so number one is 100%. Like, if you have a shitty product or a shitty service, please never, ever, ever talk to me.
yeah.
Ever, never. Right. But if you have high retention and if you have long-term clients and you sort of like, you have a good reputation and, you deliver on your promises, it's about mirroring that, right? Because if you mirror shit, you get more shit or nothing. But if you mirror gold, you can get a lot more gold, right? So that was an interesting one.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you always already or almost can say that a company who's older than 3 years, after that, they have, I would say, if they had a trend product or service, it's over. But if they manage to keep going and steadily growing, they could be the right or could be in your funnel.
mm, yes, yes. And the second one that you mentioned is so true. Like, if you want overnight success, if you're standing one day before bankruptcy, nothing's going to solve your problem. Nothing's going to help you, right? I mean, and I always say the best time to build is when you're busy, because that creates the revenue waves from the beginning, right? Because you don't really focus on outreach or acquisition when you're busy, and then 3 months later you go like, code red, we need to sell,
Mhm.
and then the wild journey starts again. But yeah, it's like, as especially like I always say, like the first couple of weeks are going to be very, very painful, because at the end of the day, creative work doesn't go like that. It goes like this,
Yeah.
Therefore, it will take one iteration or 25. I
Yes.
don't know. It will take as much as it takes, but at the end of the day, I've always gone through it. We've always gone through it. It doesn't matter how much it takes. You just have to be willing to work hard. The good thing is most of the entrepreneurs that I talk to who have been in business for a while, and actually they're used to that.
Yes.
They're used to working hard, right? Mm,
Definitely.
cool. Hey, thank you so much. One last question, like looking forward into the future, what's coming, what's next? What are you most excited about?
Um, at the moment, I'm most excited to meet all these people and have contact with the ones we are now approach, because I think they're really interesting high stack people in it, and also having the it's regarding the roundtable and the program, also regarding people we already met, to take them by the hand and get them
Mm,
to get to be our client soon. I hope so. So and also, I mean, the growth, who hopefully gets or
mm.
is like the end product of everything, right?
Mm, mm. I love that. What just went through my mind is like this image of the engine, the car, and you have the key, and you started to plug in the key and started the engine, and now you're like, you have the steering wheel, and you're right. I got the gear, I'm ready to go now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, that just
definitely.
went through my head. Beautiful. Hey, Mark, thank you so much for the insights, for your
Sure,
honesty and transparency and the rawness in this conversation. I really, really appreciate that, man. Thank you
sure.
so much. And yeah, I wish you an amazing day and talk to you soon.
Yes, definitely. Have a nice one. Bye, Daniel.